Hi, welcome back to the desk corner. Welcome, of course, to a new video. In today's video, we are going to be testing out these. The Crayola Colors of the World 24 set of crayons, which a lot of artists have already tried so long ago. I'm super late for this. I'm going to read the back really quick. So Crayola Colors of the World crayons contain 24 specially formulated colors that represent people from all around the world. Now it's even easier for kids to color themselves, their families, and friends from all over the globe. So this is the skin tone set that we are going to be testing. We're going to take another look at this when we switch to the desk view. So let's go ahead and switch there right now. Alright you guys, let's take a look at this. Obviously this is just like a normal crayon pack here, but at the top you could see all the different colors. Then we actually have the names of the colors on either side. And I am so excited by these skin tones. I absolutely love skin tones and I get really excited about any set that has a bunch of them. And so a lot of artists have already tried this out. I'm so late, you guys. Let's go ahead and pull out my swatch book and take a look at how these look all swatched out. I'm really starting to run out of space in this swatch book, you guys. Let me go ahead and open up my set here. Look at that. You guys, look at that. I don't know if you can even see it as well as I can here. I don't think it's even focusing actually, but that is so gorgeous. I see all the colors in there. Oh my gosh. Okay, let's go ahead and label this as, I think I want to label it with the crayon itself. I think I'm actually just going to go in the order that these come in. So we're just going to go by the rose here. Might be a little bit funny looking, or maybe I should actually go by what it says here. Could I do that? Could I go from extra light almond all the way up here and then, let me think about that. Very much like myself, I failed at the first swatch. How did I manage to mess it up? I don't know, but these crayons are confusing, I am telling you guys. So that's why you're going to see me start a new swatch in a few moments. But what I'm doing now is categorizing the crayons into the three categories that they're labeled as: golden, almond, and rose. My favorite category was definitely rose. I think that these colors were really rich and gorgeous. And here I am starting with the golden tones. What I decided to do is just group them together. That way I wouldn't have to label each one as golden. And then I would write if it's very light, light, medium, or whatever. And these are labeled like very light, light, light medium, and then medium, medium deep, deep, extra deep, and I think deepest. However, I'm not completely sure of this because again, I managed to mess this swatch up. I'm telling you guys, these crayons are confusing. Still not sure if deepest was supposed to be golden or almond because I don't even know. I don't know why these confused me so much, and it's kind of embarrassing, but also pretty funny that even on the second swatch I managed to mess this up. So next we're doing the almond tones, which were very nice as well. Kind of similar to the golden tones, to be honest. And one thing that was really missing from this set, and you'll see when it's completely swatched out, are some like burnt ochre, more reddish tones, which I think like orangish, which would really help with the artwork that I end up doing later, so you guys will see that. And now for my favorite, the rose. So here I am swatching out all of the rose tones, and these ones are just so gorgeous. As I mentioned before, not necessarily just for skin tones, I just really love this color palette here. And this one goes up to extra deep, I believe, so they don't all have the same labels. Okay, you guys, here is my swatch chart, and of course I managed to mess this one up. I managed to mess it up twice. I tried to do it a first time and failed, and then here we are a second time because what happened is I accidentally stuck this one in from one of these other almond or something, and it was meant not to be in this section. Oh well, I'm not going to redo it just because that one didn't match in. But as you guys can see, I've organized it from light to dark for each, or light to deep for each category. The three categories we have are golden, almond, and rose. And I find it interesting because actually in almond we get some extra light and extra deep colors, and then we don't get the extra light in golden and rose, but we do get the extra deep in golden and rose as well as almond. So we get a couple of extra ones in some of these sets that we don't get in the others. I'm just curious how I'm going to represent this in an artwork, how I'm going to do this. I think I'm going to do maybe an artwork of hands or something because I don't want to do a full portrait or anything like that, but I think hands could very well represent these colors. Of course, I won't end up using all of them because there's 24 of them total, which is a lot. but I think I'll be able to use quite a few. Now, as far as paper goes, I'm not really sure which paper I should use for this artwork. I almost want to do one that doesn't have too much extra tooth because I don't want the crayons to kind of get very dull, but I don't have a sharpener for those, of course. But I also don't want one that has too little tooth because we want to make sure that we're able to get a blend and everything. So I'm going to think about that for a moment before we actually go into the artwork. And I'm excited, you guys, because I've never done an artwork with Crayola before. I wanted to do one with the Crayola colored pencils because a lot of artists do that, and I've never got around to it. I think that'd be a fun video to do in the future. Let me know if you guys would like to see that. But I think doing the crayons first is going to be a little challenging as I'm not used to working with crayons, of course, and it's going to be very waxy. Oh my gosh. But okay, you guys, let's just go ahead and jump straight into the artwork. Now just some random shots of me playing with the crayons because apparently I love these shots. Now let's go ahead and jump into the artwork. So I sketched out two hands holding each other, and no, I did not freehand this. Actually, I was a bit in a hurry, so I went ahead and traced the basic shapes, and then of course freehand sketched the rest of the details in. Really was in a hurry, unfortunately, with this one as I'm going out of town very soon, so I just wanted to do something quick. That's why I chose hands instead of a full portrait. If you see some random awkward pauses, it's because I'm attempting to film these clips on my phone also so I can make a TikTok with them, which I'm just kind of a noob at, honestly. But as you can see, I am using the deepest color, so I don't remember if it's deep golden or deep almond, but it's the deepest color in the entire set, and I am using that one for the shadows because this set does not come with a black. So if you're testing this out, keep in mind the set is not going to come with black, which is a little bit funny. I guess, you know, they expect that you have other crayon sets or kids have other crayon sets already since they're so cheap and you would already have a black or whatever, but it would have been helpful if this set actually had a black for the very deep shadows. My original plan was to keep the hand that's underneath, so the bottom hand in the picture, a darker skin tone, and then do a light skin tone for the hand on top. However, I got this mixed up at some point when I was coloring, and I ended up having a pretty dark skin tone for the hand on top too. I just decided to make it a little bit lighter, but it didn't really work. That's okay because I ended up using those light colors for some of the lighter areas and highlights on the hands anyway, so really I ended up using most of the colors. I couldn't tell you which colors I was using for the most part though. You could tell when it looks a bit more pink that I'm using some of the rose tones, but it's a bit hard otherwise to tell because a lot of the golden and almonds are pretty similar. As I mentioned before, this set really lacks any more orangey or burnt ochre tones, and I think that could have been super helpful for me. In this artwork in particular, there were some warm orange red tones, and I wasn't able to get that with any of the colors in this set. I'm sure in some of the other Crayola sets there's some oranges that could make up for the lack of this, and maybe some peach tones as well that fall more on the orange side, but unfortunately this set didn't have that, and some of the colors were rather dull, but I'm sure they fill in any holes that the other Crayola sets do not fill. But again, I don't have the other Crayola sets to compare to, of course. So as you could see, as I start working on the top hand, I realized I accidentally went too dark. So yeah, that's why the top hand isn't actually a light skin tone as I originally meant it to be. So as far as the review of these goes, they are Crayola, so you can expect that they just work as much as crayons do. I attempted to blend them a bit. I'm using a mixed media sketch paper, so the tooth is enough for me to add a few layers with the crayons. Of course, I don't have a crayon sharpener, so I was trying not to dull the crayons out too much by using the sides sometimes when I would remember to. So I think most of the review just has to do with the colors rather than the crayons themselves. We all know that they're crayons that I'm using here, and color-wise, as I mentioned before, I did like the majority of the colors, but I felt like we were lacking a few, and I felt like some were a little bit too similar, and that wasn't really very helpful. I also thought we could have had a black included, and that would have been great. Here you can see I'm attempting to make the skin tone on the hand on top a little bit lighter, and I do think that worked out pretty well. It looks like a different tone than the other hand, so I think I was successful in that at least. I think one of the things I found pretty challenging about this was getting in details with a crayon. Of course, that would just be an issue with any crayons that you attempt to use, but I really had some issues working on some smaller detail areas, but you know, I managed, and I still had a lot of fun with this regardless. It's definitely more of a challenge type of thing rather than a very serious review, but I'm sure some of you guys are curious about this set or have heard other artists using it before, so I was pretty excited just to try it out and try out these colors. And even though I'm an adult now, of course, nothing is as satisfying as opening a brand new box of art supplies like crayons and just kind of looking at them all and how pretty they are. The crayons are so gorgeous when they're fresh out of their box before they all become little stumps. And so I'm sad I'm going to donate these to the kids I work with, which is good of course, but you know they're all going to become little stumps eventually. So it is fun to work with the crayons when they're still fresh. Also, something with the hand anatomy where the top hand went wrong here. As you could see, the wrist area, I don't know what was going on there. Also, these hands were just a little bit hard to sketch in, even though I didn't freehand for the most part. When I did freehand, I was having trouble with the knuckles because of the angles of the hands. Also, of course, the wax is kind of reflecting in my desk lights here, so that's why parts of this look a little bit funny. And I feel like some of the fingers from the bottom hand and the top hand ended up blending together a little bit too. But I was okay with that. I figured I wasn't going to get a perfect amount of detail using crayons, and I was pretty happy with the blends that I was still able to get. And as I was saying before, guys, I really love those rose colors. I want to say the rose series in this set because it's kind of like there's 3 different series in this set, and the rose colors were just absolutely gorgeous and I just love them so much. I almost forgot to add in the wrist there, but luckily I remembered to do that at the end. And then here I am trying to get another nice shot, which apparently I'm obsessed with in this video. There's my final piece. I think I'm going to save all of my commentary on how I felt about the color range and everything for the actual voiceover, so you've already heard that for now, because I'm going to do that later, of course. And I hope that you guys enjoyed this. If you'd like me to try some more Crayola products, like regular Crayola colored pencils or anything like that in artwork, let me know and I will definitely do that. I love these types of videos. They're so much fun for me. And if you guys are wondering, I'm definitely going to be donating these to the kids that I work with because they will just love using these in their coloring books, I'm sure, since most Crayola sets really lack any skin tones that you can use. But yes, let me know if you guys have tried these in the comments down below, and I will see you guys in my next video, which might be a little bit of a travel vlog type of thing. I'm going to be bringing some art supplies with me for a little beach getaway, so look forward to that. Hopefully I will be able to film a little bit while I am there, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye, thanks for watching as always.